In our last episode, after 17 years, we finally got this car on the road. Now, I approach things a little bit differently. I don't believe we need to get every single thing done on a car before we get it on the road. I believe it needs to be safe. Remember, our motto here at the channel is make it safe, make it done, and go have fun. So there's a lot of little projects that we need to do on this car to move it further forward. So let's stick around and get into it. I'm Mike, and you're watching My Car Shop. One of the things we need to do today is bolt the fuel cell and the battery. And you might think, oh, why didn't you do that before you put it on the road? Because I knew I wasn't going to be driving it much, just a little bit. I needed the motivation of getting it licensed and taking it for a longer trip like we did in the last episode. That was fun. And today, that was just yesterday. So today I'm going to bolt the fuel cell in and get the battery bolted down. And that's a little bite moving further forward to get things done. So let's get into that. To me, there is nothing more motivating than having a car so you can drive it. I mean, when I woke up this morning, I thought, you know what? Today I'm going to get that fuel cell and that battery bolted down. And it's because I started driving the car. If I hadn't, I was like, yeah, I can do that later. But now that it's on the road, that's a project I can accomplish today. And I want to encourage you with that. Yeah, obviously we want to be safe and we want to be legal and all of that stuff. But there's a million things you can do after you get the car licensed and moving and you're starting to enjoy it. This one was one I knew I was going to need to do immediately, if not sooner. If I'd had a little more time, I actually would have done it yesterday. But that's okay. You know, it's one step forward, one bite at a time. Alrighty, there we go. All done. Routed my battery cable a little differently. I got my battery bolted in. I ran a tank vent because we could smell gas in the car, especially since the back seat was not in. But still, I think it just makes sense to vent that outside so it just goes down and ties to the frame underneath safely. My pump is good. Our tank mount is in now, so our tank is mounted nicely. And yeah, it's a vast improvement. So this trunk needs a good cleaning. It'll be a winter project at some point to pull everything out and give this a good bath and a good cleaning and get it all painted up again nicely. You know, like this is obviously really nice, and this is just from years of working on the car. It's just gotten dirty. So how else? I see I'm missing the lower part of my trunk seal. I have that. I'll have to get that put on. But yeah, it's progress. So I think, well, I spent a lot of time today going over the list. And there's definitely some things that need to be done, but I got the fuel cell mounted for sure. I got the battery mounted, which isn't on the list. Becky just brought me transmission fluid, so that's topped off. I did an oil change yesterday. I did go through and check body mounts. There's two that are missing, which I knew were missing. I don't have the bolts. I can't find them, but it's enough for the body to be bolted on safely. Still working on the door panels. I did start looking at the speedometer cable today. That's not... There's something with that yet I got to figure out. I'm not sure I have the right cable. Also bolting on the fenders and the running boards. The rear fenders are all good. The front fenders are on, but not every bolt is there. I'm going to order those bolts this week. But again, everything is safe and secure with that floating front end. It's bolted solid to the radiator. It's bolted solid to the body. The inner fender wells only have a few bolts holding them in. They're tight. There's just a few missing, so I got to get those in there. And there's some running board bolts that I need to drill and tap the holes up in through the bottom. The running boards are mounted solid, but there's some bolts missing. So these are all things that I knew I was going to need to do and look over. So no big deal. So we're getting close. What else did I do today? I did polish up the chrome on the engine. Seemed like there was something else I was doing today too, but I don't remember what it was. So I did go for several drives today and just check things out. Oh, I checked all the lug nuts to make sure they were tight because, you know, there's just a lot of stuff when you've been building a car that once you get it legally on the road and you're driving it, things occur to you like, ooh, I better go back and look at this. Ooh, I better go back and look at that. Yes, you could do all of that, I suppose, before. I just find this is my process. I'm always sure that what I'm doing is safe. I'm never worried about that, but there's things I think about and I go, well, yeah, I probably should take a look at that or this. There's things that I did before we put it on the road that I knew needed to be done. So again, it's Once it's licensed and going, there's a lot of things that go through my mind. I go, oh yeah, I better look at that. Oh yeah, I better look at that. Oh yeah, I better look at that. Plus then the motivation of, yeah, I want to get that done. And yeah, I want to get that done, because the car's going to start to be being seen by people, and having those things taken care of is important. I suppose to a large degree, this is part of my TAS working style that we talked about in a recent Talk About It Tuesday. Um, it all gets done, and it's always steps forward. And I've had a ton of fun just putzing around. They've repaved 4 or 5 roads right close by here. Unfortunately, they didn't do ours. It's still rough as a cob. All they did was chip seal it, and they didn't make it any smoother. But the road half a mile down, both directions, is new. My drag strip is all brand new now. So there's a lot of really nice, smooth roads. The car does have a shimmy when you get it up to 55. I don't know if we have a bent rim or a tire. Got a belt shift in it. That bothers me because those are brand new. Well, they're brand new front tires that I put on 10 years ago. So go figure. Anyway, I just wanted to take you through some of the process of what I go through after I get a car on the road, and I will continue to be chipping away at getting these things done on the car. So thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next one.
Rock. I said rock. And I meant